Dream a little dream of me. Welcome kindreds, it's Jessica the Story Witch, and this video is the answer to number 17 for the 31 Days of Tarot series that I'm making here, which is hosted by Ethany, and I'll link all the information for taking part down below. And so the question for today is, what is your favourite way to tarot journal? Planners, apps or bullet journals? And Jen Sankey sent in that question. And of course, you know, it mentions journals, so I couldn't let that slide without answering it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how I do that today. So I don't do anything particularly fancy, but I will show you a couple of the spreads. I'm a bullet journaler, as you will know if you follow my channel, because I upload my kind of monthly spreads, and I do I've done a couple live plan with me's and things like that. So yeah, you probably already know that, or if you don't and you're interested, you can check out those videos as well. I've made a witchy plan with me playlist, so you can have a little look at that. So I tend to I do a daily draw, which I include in my journal. This is not my most recent journal. This is like my March, April, May, and a little bit of June journal from last year, from 2018. And I just set that up at the beginning of the year, and I set it up for the whole year, which really I don't need because I tend to use 3 journals a year, but I just kind of like how it looks overall. So I do that. I might fiddle it down and do it for 6 months instead, or even 3 months perhaps in the future. But I find that's a really kind of simple way of keeping track of the cards I pull. I just have a very simple colour coding system, and I just colour in the square for the day and write the number on it, so I can see straight away which suit it was, or whether it was a major, and then which number it was. And from that then I can see if there's a particular card that keeps coming out, if I've got a stalker card. And it's just interesting to see the patterns, especially because with the colours then you can see oh, that's interesting, I've pulled an awful lot of cups this month, you know, or just things like that, which is I find it interesting. And then I sometimes journal spreads just into my journal, into my bullet journal as well. This is one that I did last year in response to Tracy, my spiritual shoes Tracy, and I just kind of draw the cards out, and then I usually write inside them what they were, or sometimes I'll kind of draw the layout out and journal it underneath. And I do some of my spreads in my bullet journal, but I also have a separate tarot journal, which this is a fairly new one that I haven't been using for very long. It's basically just an A4 spiral bound book that I use, because I just find having a slightly bigger format is more useful for me when I'm tarot journaling. I don't do anything particularly pretty. I just literally record my spreads in this. So if I'm doing bigger spreads, I tend to use my tarot journal for that rather than my regular bullet journal. Although I have this dream of the one journal to rule them all, you know, so that everything goes in the one journal. And I'm trying to kind of figure out a way of doing that. So I'm considering getting a sticker machine this year in 2019 as to feed in with my bullet journaling, because I do buy stickers at the moment off Etsy, which costs a fair bit, and I could be making them myself probably more cheaply. And more so than that, I could be making them more tailored to what I actually want. So I was thinking I might scan in a few of my card backs and make stickers out of them, so I could stick them in the layout into my bullet journal, and I could journal it out underneath, and it would look pretty, but it would still be really kind of easy and not time consuming or anything to do. So I'm still kind of figuring that out. That's gonna be one of the things that I'm gonna figure out this year for using. So at the moment I have 2. I have a bigger tarot journal, and I have a smaller, just an A5. It's a Leuchtturm 1917 bullet journal that I use. This is, like I said, this is one of my ones from last year that I use for my daily. And I tend to put my dark moon and full moon spreads into my bullet journal. But if I do a spread, just an inquiry spread or a separate spread, or if it's something that like a getting to know a deck type spread, then I tend to do that in my tarot journal, because it's not necessarily pertaining to the particular time which I tend to keep in my bullet journal, if that makes sense. Like I said, it's definitely not a perfect system, and I'd love to know what you do with your system, whether you've cracked it, because like, you know, I feel like there is not one perfect way to do it, and there's like pros and cons of all the different ways, and that is just kind of what I have been settled on for the last couple of years now. But like I said, I am kind of always looking to tweak things to make them kind of flow and be a little bit more easy and a bit more juicy. So yeah, that is how I do it. I know there's a couple of tarot apps and things now available, which I did do that with, like I can't even remember which one it was now. Last year I started doing like you downloaded it and then it would record your daily draws for you automatically, and so it would like save them so you could look back on them like that. But I just like used to forget to do it, and the paper system for me with the bullet journaling just seems to be what it kind of, it feeds my soul, whereas like I feel like I spend enough time on my phone as it is, so the apps don't really work so well for me. So yeah, that might be something that changes in the future as well. I am open to change. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon.